Hey guys, how is everybody doing with the brand new Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, the brand new installment of this Mad Max franchise? I almost forgot the word. I'm going back to where it all began with the 1979 classic starring Mel Gibson, Mad Max. Now, I will be completely honest. I have not seen these movies before. I've only seen a bit of Fury Road, so yeah, shame me all you want, but I did buy it. I did buy these movies. I did buy the movies. So you're gonna be seeing my reviews for them. Why did I show you that? Because I'm bored. So these are gonna be first time watches for me. Now I have an idea. I've had an idea what this franchise has to offer me. I've know what Fury Road is at this point. I've seen trailers and TV spots and advertisements to shit with Furiosa and Mad Max Saga. So I'm very familiar with the world. I've just never seen the movies. So kicking it all up with the original 1979 original movie. What do I think with the beginning of this franchise? Well, let's see. Starting out with my positives on the original Mad Max is something that I really appreciate about this movie and something that I really liked about the movie is the action. Now, you don't get a ton of action in this movie. The main thing I'm talking about is like the opening of the movie and like the towards the end of the movie. Like the action there is great, especially at the beginning of the movie. That is some of the best action I've seen for a movie. It's not some of the best, but it's a great sequence. But what I love about it is just that this movie has a very, very low budget of a movie. This movie was only made for $350,000, which may seem like a lot of money, but to make a movie, that is basically pennies and dimes to a filmmaker. It's pennies and dimes to me because when you look at big budget made movies and then you look at this movie, which had a very low budget, which was basically made by out of George Miller's own pocket when you think about it, it's very impressive, and the fact that the action sequences that they were able to pull off with that amount of money, I am shocked at that because the amount of money that they had and the amount of action sequences that is in the beginning of the movie alone, it's like, okay, George Miller knows what to do with his money because he did not fail, and I really enjoyed the action sequences, and they're great and they're very fun to watch. Now, I do know in Fury Road they're a lot more fun and a lot more action, but for a very low budget movie, the action in this movie is still great, and it's impressive that they were able to pull off what they were able to. And I do like Mel Gibson in the starring role as Max in this movie, to where he doesn't have much to do. He's a very simple guy. He's a policeman. He has a family. He's trying to take down these bikers. He's trying to take down these people. He wants justice, and he's a very generic character, I guess I could say. But he's a Mel Gibson in the starring role. He's very entertaining. This was when he was like really fucking young too. Like when you look at him now, it's like, oh yeah, that's Mel Gibson. But when you look at him in 1978 when this movie was being filmed, and you see a young ass Mel Gibson, it's like that is not the same fucking person. Especially he has an Australian accent. I don't know if he is Australian in real life, but he's great in this movie. And this is when he was really young, and this is when he was able to do more. I think his performance in this movie is pretty good, especially towards the end of the movie, which I'll talk to, like when he has to give a very emotional performance. I do like he's great there. So yeah, Mel Gibson, he's great as always, although as a person he's pretty fucked up. But as an actor and as a director, I do love Mel Gibson and I do think he's great in this movie. Something that I really liked about the villain of Toe Cutter and his whole gang of people is that I do like how they have like a hint of biker gang like elements of like a biker gang like villain, to where they're like people that are like really dangerous people, people that everybody fears and people that you don't want to cross the line with. Like those are people you don't want to fuck with, and if you do, they're gonna do some shit to you. And I do like how they have that biker gang like elements, and it's something that I really enjoy, and that's why I'm really looking forward to the brand new The Bike Riders coming out in June, because it's basically that. It's about basically a movie about, it's a basically a crime movie about bikers. And this movie has like a lot of elements of biker gang stuff going on, and I really enjoyed that. It's something I really liked about the movie. It's about something that I thought was very unique about the movie. And again, I'm a big fan of like biker gang movies and biker gang villains and all that, so I liked having that little hint of elements in there with that. Final positive is that I do like how in the final moments of the movie it becomes like a revenge story because the last 20 minutes is a revenge story because the toe cutter and his gang they were harassing Max's wife after Max decided to leave after what they unfortunately did to his best friend and his partner. And so he decides to leave. They're just going on a trip, and they so happen to come across them. Max's wife comes across them. She basically crosses their line and basically pisses them off. They end up killing and murdering her and unfortunately their child as well. And their death in that sequence when they die reminded me a lot of the 2004 film The Punisher, which I was very surprised that it gave me elements of that, and I didn't really expect it to. But so in the final moments of this movie, decides to become a revenge plot, a revenge story of Max hunting down these people and trying to kill them. And I absolutely love revenge stories. I've talked about them on this channel before. I think the first time I did and the only time I did is when I reviewed Fast and Furious 7. God, that was a year ago. Jesus Christ. So yeah, and I love revenge flicks, and fuck, let alone my favorite movie of all time is a revenge plot. So I love a good revenge story, and it's good to see the hero finally get his revenge and fuck some people up. And this movie definitely offers that, especially in the final moments of the movie, because oh, that shit was brutal. Moving on to my mixed aspects on the original Mad Max is you know, when I go into this franchise expecting like this very futuristic world with badass looking cars, a lot of action, a lot of weird looking dudes where there's like basically no rules at all, and it's like in a desert and all that. When you see this franchise being parodied to shit, that's the type of thing that you expect to go and watch Mad Max. But at the same time, I never heard anything about this first movie. I've always heard about the sequels being talked about. So I was wondering about when I watch it, this movie is not really a Mad Max movie. This is a very different movie to where it's not like the movies that come right after. This is a different story. This is a very different movie to where it doesn't have that desert like setting or these badass cars or there's a lot of high powered action. And when I can't really hate on it too much because of that, it's mainly because of the low budgets why I couldn't really do much with that. So one, I do appreciate it for being something new and something different. Well, actually, it's not nothing new. It's something different and a nice, like, a little student film, I guess you could call it. And and what comes after that is just why it's weird. Now, I do like how it's something different. It's nothing that we would expect from this type of franchise anymore. It's something like when you look at Fury Road, it's like, oh, this is what you expect now. Then you go and watch this original movie, it's like this is a weird start to this franchise, but I don't know. I like that it's different and it doesn't try to do that, and it's like more of a setup of this world and a setup of this character Max. But I don't know. It's weird to watch the movie knowing what you're trying to go in and watch, but it didn't bother me a whole lot. Now moving on to my negatives. This movie doesn't know its own plot. This movie doesn't know the story. This movie doesn't know what its own plot is because it has like three different stories. Like to one it's like this cop trying to take down this biker gang. Then the other one is like a bunch of bikers just fucking around, fucking people up. And then the final moments of the movie, it's a revenge story. It's a revenge like plot, which I really wish what this movie would have done is just focus on the revenge plot. That is what I think they should have done. Keep the first few moments of the movie, like with the action when they kill the Night Rider, then Toe Cutter finds out who killed them, goes after them, kills his family, and then he hunts them down. I would have preferred if that was the entire movie, but yet again, we've seen a lot of movies like that, but in this world, I would have liked to see that. But again, it just doesn't know its own plot. It has like three different stories going on, and it doesn't know which one to focus on. Again, it might be because of the low budget. I don't really know. I don't know the behind the scenes. I don't know the story of how this movie was made. But when you watch this movie, it's like you don't know the story. Like, what's the story? It's like you could tell if you were to give this movie to someone, they asked you what was it about, you would probably be like, um, and my final negative is that this movie doesn't really introduce you well to this world. Again, low budget. I can't hate on the movie too much because of that. But when this is the first movie into a great franchise from what I hear, you expect this movie to really introduce you to the rules and to this world, but it really doesn't do that. And again, it might be because of the low budget, so I can't really rant on it too much. But I don't know. It just, I don't know. I can't rant on it too much. This movie's pretty old too, so I don't know. When you go into Mad Max and you expect something big, action, and weird shit going on, this movie just doesn't introduce you well to that. But again, I won't rant. I can't really talk about it too much because low budget. That seems to be my excuse. All in all, guys, the original Mad Max, it's fine. It's a fine little movie, and it's a fine introduction to this world. I haven't seen the other movies, but I do know what I'm expecting to go into. So, if you're a big fan of like Mad Max Fury Road, I probably wouldn't recommend this movie because it's very different and it's nothing you would expect. But if you're new to this franchise like I am and you want to start from the very beginning, check it out. But this movie I want to recommend to a lot of hardcore Mad Max fans, it seems, but it's a fun movie enough. It's fun enough and it's okay. So what do you guys think about the original Mad Max? Have you seen it? What do you think about it? Do you like this movie? Do you not like this movie? Let me know in the comments below, and we shall talk about it. And if you like this video, like it. If you loved it, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you will get notified for all of my latest videos, and for the rest of my Mad Max review series coming to you later on this week. Thank you all so much for watching, and of course, I'll see you all next time.